You have already learned about maintaining your exposure to radiation and materials that are radioactive as low as reasonably achievable, or ALARA. This concept applies to how you dress out or don your protective clothing, as well as how you remove or doff your protective clothing. This DVD presentation will highlight suggested methods to follow when donning and doffing that will help to prevent picking up contamination that might accumulate on the outside of your protective clothing. The procedures we highlight here are just one way of donning and doffing. Please keep in mind that the procedure you will follow will change from one work site to another. You will always follow the procedure in place at your facility. When dressing out, personal items such as jewelry should never be worn. Various types of underclothing can be worn, such as cotton t-shirts and shorts, or medical scrubs. What you wear will be determined by the Radiological Control Technician, or RADCON. For the purpose of this training DVD, our model will wear street clothes under his anti-seize, since he will not be in an actual radiation contamination area. Our worker will first don the cloth shoe cover. These are donned first because they will be removed last when he exits the radiological control area. He now inspects the cotton coveralls. Always inspect your protective clothing looking for tears, broken zippers, or torn seams. Report defective protective clothing to the RADCON technician or health physicist. The worker now dons the cotton coverall, taping the leg of the coverall over the cloth boot cover. This is important because the coverall will be removed first when he exits the radiological control area. Notice that the tape is folded into a tab. This will make it easy for the worker to remove the tape when he doffs his protective clothing. The worker now dons the vinyl outer shoe cover. Notice that he has not zipped up his coverall. He is doing this as a measure of comfort. Anti-seize trap body heat that can cause heat stress. The coverall is now zipped up. It is important that protective clothing be sealed all the way to keep your underclothing free of contamination. The cloth hood is inspected and donned. It is important that it hang evenly and cover the shoulders completely. Cloth inner gloves are now donned. These are primarily for his comfort. The cloth inner glove helps keep the hands dry. He now dons 2 additional pair of nitrile surgical type gloves and tapes them to the suit cuff. Outer work gloves are now tested for pinholes by twisting the glove, forcing air pressure into the gloves. They are then donned. Remember, the number of gloves you actually wear will be a site-specific requirement. Always read your Radiological Work Permit, or RWP, to know what is required at your site. When in doubt, ask the RADCON technician or health physicist at your facility. The worker now dons his TLD badge, attaching it to the pocket. The worker now verifies the initial reading and attaches the pick to his pocket. It's important that the pick be worn in such a way that it is shielded from excessive contamination. It is not recommended to hang your TLD and pick from the hood. This can cause the hood to accidentally open and drag on contaminated surfaces. Our worker is now ready to enter the radiological control area. After the worker has finished their task in the radiological control area, they will doff or remove their protective clothing at a place designated for this purpose near the exit point. Remember, the way you doff is site-specific. You will follow the order established at your facility. One rule of doffing that is universal: Do not touch contaminated surfaces with your unprotected hands. Always assume that the outer surfaces of your protective clothing are contaminated. After you are finished working, you will approach the first station. At that point, you will then follow the step-by-step procedure in removing your protective clothing. First, remove excess tape and place in disposal container indicated. Now, remove the outer shoe cover and place in the disposal container indicated. Next, remove outer gloves. Now, remove tape from ankles and wrists and place in the container indicated. Next, remove the TLD and pick and place where indicated. At this facility, a small table near the exit point is being used to hold picks and TLDs until they can be scanned. At this point, our worker is removing his hood. Note how he avoids touching the outer edges with his inner gloves, which are considered clean. The technique is performed by holding the inside of the hood. This is referred to as clean to clean. Now, our worker removes his coveralls. Notice that he again employs the clean to clean method of unzipping his suit. As he removes his suit, it is rolled inside out. This helps to ensure that the most contaminated side is not exposed as he removes it. The suit is then placed in the container indicated. Now, the worker removes his cloth booties near the step-off pad. Note that he is still wearing the blue inner gloves, which will be removed last. As he removes the cloth booty, he places his foot onto the step-off pad. He removes the second pair of inner gloves and places them into the disposable container indicated. Leaving the innermost gloves on, the worker now opens the rope barrier and steps through to the clean side of the radiological control line. After he closes the line, he will remove the innermost gloves. This helps to ensure that his hands do not become contaminated as he holds the rope. Our worker will now proceed to the frisking area. Frisking ensures that you do not leave a radiological control area with contamination on your body. It is a slow, methodical scan of your body from head to toe. It is essential that you perform frisking correctly. First, verify that the radiation survey meter is on and set to the correct scale for your facility. Once you are assured that the instrument is on and set correctly, scan the palm of your hands over the pancake probe. This ensures that your hands are uncontaminated so that you may grasp and remove the probe to perform the frisk. With the probe, survey the back of your hands. The probe should be held 1/2 inch from the body for gamma, 1/2 inch for beta, and 1/4 inch for alpha radiation. Now, proceed to your head. The frisk is performed at a rate of approximately 2 inches per second. Pause over the mouth for several seconds. After scanning the head, the arms are scanned, pausing briefly by each elbow. Next, the chest and abdomen. Note, if at any time should the alarm on the survey meter sound, stop frisking and call for the radiological control technician immediately. Then, the back, the hips, and the seat of the pants. The legs, pausing over the knees for a few seconds. Then, the tops of the shoes. Finally, the bottom of the shoes, pausing over the heel and soles for a few seconds. Once the foot is completed, the worker places that foot directly onto the floor. Do not step back onto the pad, or the foot frisk will have to be repeated. You must assume that the step-off pad might be contaminated. Now, the worker will scan his personal dosimeters and badge. The survey meter is now set back onto the table, with the tip of the probe facing up for the next worker to use. The worker takes a final reading from the pick and records the reading on his work permit. Using the Personal Contamination Monitor, or PCM. Another method of performing the frisk is to use a type of survey meter known as the Personal Contamination Monitor, or PCM. The PCM performs the same task as the handheld meter, but can survey large areas in less time than the handheld meter. All that is required is for the worker to step into the unit and follow the written instructions. Lights and messages will be displayed, indicating what the worker should do at each step. If PCMs are used at your site, you will receive site-specific training in their use.